Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it gives me great pleasure to bring to you another episode of Don't Worry About the Government's Vodcast. My name is Chris Novembrino. Today is Friday, August 31st, and alongside me is the man, the myth, the legend, the face of radio and podcasting in the new millennium, Mr. Roni Weiss. And a whizzle wazzle woozle to you, good sir. Now, today is Friday. We just got done recapping the 3 nights of the Republican National Convention. I say 3 because they were in session on Monday, but they weren't really because of Hurricane Isaac. And what we wanted to talk about here was the surprise mystery speaker on the 3rd night. Now, Mittens Romney gave his acceptance speech, and I'm very excited about his candidacy, but nowhere near as excited as I was when, no, not Serpico. No, Serpico is Al Pacino. When none other than Dirty Harry himself, Clint Eastwood, came to the stage. And he said, "Go ahead, punk. Make my day." No, well, actually he did. But that's not why 82-year-old Clint Eastwood was there. No, Fossil Man came to the stage so as to give a full-throated endorsement of Mitt Romney. And full-throated it was. I mean, yeah, I thought this was a ringing endorsement. We don't have to be, what I'm saying is, we don't have to be metal masochists and vote for somebody that we don't really want in office just because they seem to be nice guys, or maybe not so nice guys, if you look at some of the recent ads going on there. I don't know. Pretty ringing endorsement of Mitt Romney, I thought. But what I thought was particularly effective was Clint Eastwood's use of prop comedy. Now, as we all know, Clint Eastwood's filmography is basically littered with classic improv bits and comedy scenes. And last night, the Republican convention was no different. It was just like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Clint Eastwood sat there and interviewed a chair for what seemed like 2 hours. Just like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And he asked some hard-hitting questions to the chair, lest you think that this guy, was going to take it easy on him like a Wolf Blitzer. No. Clint was more like Tim Russert. Here, listen to this line of questioning. "So, Mr. President, how do you handle the promises that you made when you were running, do you just, I know, people are wondering that you don't handle that okay? Well, I know that even people in your own party were disappointed when you didn't close Gitmo. And I thought, well, closing Gitmo, why close that? We spend so much money on that. But I thought, maybe as an excuse, what do you mean, shut up? Pretty funny stuff." And, okay, fine. We'll pivot a little bit. Ronnie thinks that this speech was odd. One, because surely it had to have been vetted by the Romney campaign, or at least some incarnation of the speech had to be vetted by the Romney campaign. And also, that then means that Clint Eastwood at some point decided to, as they say, go rogue. And I feel like Clint Eastwood decided to go rogue, let's say right at the opening of the speech. Sure looks like it. He gives an introduction explaining Hollywood and how not all of Hollywood is liberal. And then he introduces the empty chair. Now here's what is bizarre to me. The empty chair had to have been greenlit. Yes, some of the questions might not have been greenlit, but the empty chair does not show up on stage without someone bringing it on stage, which means Clint Eastwood tells somebody that he's going to be interviewing an empty chair who will be standing in as a proxy for President Obama. Yeah, I know. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. Yeah, you're right. What was also weird is that Clint Eastwood, not once, but 2 or 3 times by my count, attacks the Afghanistan war as stupid, pointless, and says that Mitt Romney's best line of attack was, "Why don't we bring the troops home tomorrow?" Which is actually not what Mitt Romney was trying to say. What he was trying to say is that setting a deadline is basically like saying, if you're going to set a deadline, you might as well say, "Why not bring the troops home tomorrow?" But Clint Eastwood goes for the better point, which is, "Why don't we just end the wars?" Which I'm all for the I know, you like the war on terror a little bit more than I do. I don't think there's a point to it anymore. And I think that national security letters and our national security state and the Patriot Act are being used to abuse civil liberties all over the... I know. And Al-Qaeda is bad, but I think civil liberties are better than Al-Qaeda is evil. Let's get back to Clint Eastwood. So, Clint Eastwood, I felt like, was able to energize the crowd. He certainly energized Twitter. He almost broke Twitter down. And at the end, he was basically getting beckoned by the Republican National Convention to say his signature line of, "Go ahead, punk, make my day." A woman from the crowd screams out, "Clint, you made my day!" And Clint Eastwood goes, "I don't say that word anymore." Well, I had to watch it a few times because at first I thought it was like a racist comment, and it wasn't. It was just, "Clint, you made my day." And I don't know which word he was talking about. Maybe it was punk? Go ahead, punk? Because he didn't say punk last night. Anyways, Clint Eastwood really tore the house down with this speech. And I think what we saw here, and I think this is important as a takeaway for political rhetoric, is that when you are asked to give a major political speech, you definitely should improv, and you definitely should use props. This worked well for Gallagher. This works good for the guys from Whose Line Is It Anyways? And this can work good for politicians going forward. I think Clint Eastwood really blew the roof off with his speech last night at the Republican National Convention. We are Don't Worry About the Government. My name is Chris Novembrino. You can find me on Twitter at Chris, ChrisNovembrino. He's Ronnie Weiss. You can find him all over the internet at RonnieWeiss.com, RONIWEISS, but also on Twitter at Ronnie, RONIWEISS on Twitter. And you can find our Facebook page, it's facebook.com/DWATG, and go to our homepage, that's don'tworry.tv. Also, if you're not a subscriber on iTunes, please do so. Check us out on iTunes by searching Don't Worry About the Government. For myself, Chris Novembrino, and for Mr. Ronnie Weiss, we want to thank you all so much for watching us. And until the next one, cheers. Say goodbye, Ronnie.